Hello, I am Dominic Samantha Suniadji.
And I am Gabriel James Agansky.
In this video, we are going to talk about a research we have conducted on Indonesian citizens' economic resilience before, during, and after the COVID-19 pandemic. GDP is an important indicator that measures the economics of a country. It is the total market value of finished goods and services produced in a specific period of time. Indonesia was expected to experience an economic slowdown in the first quarter of 2023, but Indonesia's GDP remained stable. Meanwhile, the US was expected to experience another recession.
We collected data on it and made a comparative line graph between the two. In 2020, the IMF mentioned that there will be a recession in many countries caused by the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown. We can see that the US is experiencing an unstable economy after 2020's economic recovery. The US is expecting a second recession this year due to the economic slowdown of the pandemic. Meanwhile, Indonesia already has a stable economy after the pandemic recovery.
So does this mean that the level of resilience of Indonesian society is not much affected by the COVID-19 pandemic? This research aims to compare and see whether there are significant differences in Indonesia's economic resilience before, during, and after the pandemic. We divided our research into 3 stages, as visible on the screen. First is the preparation stage, in which we prepare a questionnaire to measure the economic resilience of the respondents, targeting about 150 from different backgrounds. We consulted with an expert and conducted reliability tests using Cronbach alpha and validity tests using Pearson's correlation. During the test, we found that several items didn't have an acceptable level of validity and reliability. Thus, we changed the questions based on input from the expert.
During the data collection, our questionnaires were shared through Google Forms, which the questions were based on indicators from Salignac's work, accumulating up to 235 respondents. Interviews were also conducted to collect more data. Lastly, our analysis. The data that has been obtained is tested again. Using Cronbach's alpha, we refer to the value of RAC, which is known to be reliable.
For its validity, we have achieved decent results, although 3 items were still invalid. Hence, we excluded those 3 items in the data analysis. To compare the level of economic resilience between the 3 time periods, we used the one-way ANOVA test, which has a null hypothesis of no significance between the classes. So when the p-value is less than the critical value of 0.05, it will reject the null hypothesis, meaning that there's a significant difference between the classes, thus as seen in the table.
Other findings that we found are that the Indonesian citizens' financial literacy increased after the pandemic. However, low-income Indonesians still face difficulties financially due to the lack of education and basic fulfillment. There is an increase in the e-commerce market too, although many sources claimed as their market was no longer as busy as before and during after the pandemic, possibly to the long-term impact of layoffs. A rise in fraudulent financial products also led to a decline in social capital. The current economic situation might also be affected by the implementation of socialization for the 2024 presidential election. Although the government has provided enough measures, it still needs to focus more on educating low-income people about finding income and managing it.
As mentioned previously, from the plus-up table, we can see that there's no significant difference before and during the pandemic, but there's a significant difference during and after the pandemic. So when we check the control class, which was before the pandemic, it shows us that there's no significant change in general. The second conclusion is the increase in financial literacy that helps a society to withstand disaster, increasing economic resilience. Although fraudulent financial products affect the social capital dimension negatively as it causes society stress to decline.
Further research can be done on the relationship between the cultural behavior of Indonesian society, such as gotong royong, as well as the declining trust of the social capital, and also the increase in financial literacy of the Indonesian people as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Our research mainly refers to O'Neill and Shell's research. However, these are all the sources that we used. COVID-19 was truly a turning point for every one of us. Although most of us felt the negative impact, it has taught us a lot of things that we didn't know would be helpful for us in the present and future. It has become a foundation for our present life. So as J.K. Rowling had said, rock bottom became the solid foundation on which I rebuilt my life. Thank you.
Thank you.